All right, and welcome to another podcast of Ladies Room, where we're going to discuss the topic. The topic for today is basically a recap on one of the subjects that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. One was now it's stated as $1 billion divorce between Dr. Dre and his wife, Nicole. So for a recap on additional information, we're going to have Desiree present. But for tonight, we do have Miss Theronda that's present. We have Courtney and we have Whitney. So Miss Desiree, if you can take the floor.
Dr. Dre's wife is now suing him for his namesake, in my opinion. She felt like she kind of helped him establish the name that he's been using. And I mean, I personally don't know when their relationship started, but I kind of feel like she's reaching at this point. It just keeps growing and it's starting to get a little annoying because she's always in the news in regards to this whole divorce thing. And I'm just kind of over it. I'm hoping that it'll blow over soon and that we can kind of get back focusing on other things that's happening in the world and not $1 billion divorce.
So, ladies, what do y'all think about this? I mean, this is $1 billion company. She says she helped establish his name for his sold out album. I mean, his platinum album, the Chronic album. And I actually read an article where it says he put her out of the house a couple of months ago. And when he put her out, he actually hid all the royalties and things under this company to prevent her from bringing it up in the divorce. So apparently it wasn't like some blindsidedness of, he didn't, it's like they was having a happy marriage. He had actually put her out of the house months before she filed for the divorce. And he hid the information and stuff in this company to prevent her from coming after the royalties in this divorce. So that's just a little insight on why she's coming after this asset. So you guys tell me what y'all think about it.
I guess what I'm trying to understand is she's a lawyer, correct? At what point does she use her degree at the onset of this marriage to just think, I guess, more critically so that we wouldn't be at this point where they're battling it out in court? I kind of feel like she should have been 2 steps ahead because of her legal background, but that's just me personally, especially, I mean, just knowing the amount of money that's involved, or I would have been putting money up to where it wouldn't have been a discussion of what you have to give me when we were leaving or separating, because I was probably going to be putting billions aside myself if I had access to it. I'm just saying.
I do think it's unusual that, like you said, Desiree, first of all, that she's going as far as to try to stake claim on names. I just know that if it were me in his shoes or another person's shoes where I am the personification of a name, I'm the one that gets out there and performs and goes on tours and I am what's being sold to the public and what they're buying. And obviously, like, I have that value in myself. I don't think I'd want to, I think that barring whatever the split is that the courts, offer to her, I feel like it shouldn't go any further than that, because at what point, I guess, does it stop? So if he comes out with another album and he goes on tour, is she going to make money from that tour too? Because his name is Dr. Dre, and she feels like, I'm just like, what? He's been Dre young for how long now? So, like you said, I guess it's just, I feel like if you set precedent sometimes. You set yourself up for there to be like further issues down the road if you allow, something like that to continue.
If I can state how I feel about the situation, I would say that to Dr. Dre, I would say pay her the money. Learn from Jeff Bezos, pay her the money. Jeff paid his wife in their divorce, and he has made double than what he had to pay her.
I think it's a matter of him. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So I believe there is a reason why he's operating in the manner that he's operating. He's not doing it, in my opinion, to be malicious. I think sometimes we agree to stuff because I'm in love. We're going to be together forever. There's no ending to this. When in reality, there's nothing that cannot ever end. Even life ends. So she should have been more responsible being a lawyer, because I don't have a law degree, but I will tell you what, any man that I'm going to be in a relationship or I'm going to be dealing with, he will have his own, I will have my own, and we will have some together. But I'm never going to be in a position where I have to argue back and forth with somebody about how to sustain a lifestyle, because as a woman, I want to be able to create that for myself and be able to manage on my own. And I think right now, and I guess what bothers me most is that list, her cost of living, the things that she's needing the money for, and it's excess, in my opinion. Minimize, volunteer, give back some time to the community, like do something, be in the news for something other than asking this man for $1 million. How much money does she have in the bank? Can he get something from her?
But Desiree, what you have to also understand is he has got her accustomed for the 20-something years of marriage to that lifestyle. And when you have that, the law clearly states that you have to maintain that lifestyle. Okay, so I don't see nothing. I don't see nothing wrong with what she asking for. Again, speaking from a married woman, if you're doing what you have to do, where I'm taking care of the household and you're keeping me accustomed, then if it ends, then the law says that I am entitled to maintain. My kids are entitled to maintain it as well. And so to say that all of a sudden this lady who has been accustomed to this lifestyle, and again, we don't know what other things she had to get accustomed to, especially given his reputation. But again, there's a reason why husband and wife cannot testify in court against each other. But divorces get nasty. If she is asking for the money, a lot of times it costs for your peace. Give her what she's asking for, because you will in turn gain more than you're losing. But if you do not, then, it tells you never seen a woman, hell has no fury on a woman scorned. Like, you don't know what other information this lady had. And it just came out that he had kicked her out the house before she filed for the divorce. But according to all of the shows that I have seen him on, the YouTube, the podcast, he did one with Lil Wayne and everything, he made it appear like they was in a loving marriage. And, oh yeah, I've been with my loving wife for 24 years. And the whole time he had put her out of that home. He had put her out of that home with no access to the money or anything. So we have to think about who we dealing with. We're dealing with Dr. Dre,
who had a prenup.
We're dealing with Dr. Dre, and I think it's a lot of skeletons in that closet. And I think before he wants those skeletons out, he better pay that lady and stop it.
I think if he wasn't at ease with it, though, she could have had the money, but he's obviously toying with her at this point. There's a reason behind it. Somebody's going to break, somebody's going to fold first, and we just will see who it's going to be. I know people who have been married for 50 years and done vow renewals, and then months later, they're divorced. And sometimes marriage is an image for people. That's business. So I would get on a podcast too, or on different television platforms and say, I'm in love, this is what it is, because there's nobody's business one way or the other. But I mean, I guess we'll see. I hope she's investing as much time into another strategy, because he sounds like he's holding on. He's digging in deep.
I guess my question for both of you from what you're saying is, like kind of like speaking to what you said, Desiree, and also asking what you're saying, Crystal. Crystal, you're saying that he should just pay her the money that she's asking for, like Jeff Bezos did. But to my knowledge, in the case of the Bezos divorce, there was a one-time judgment payment, and it was lump sum, and they're done. I think that what I'm hearing from you, Desiree, correct me if I'm wrong, is like, when does this stop? Because it's like you ask for one thing, then you come back and ask for some more stuff. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, me personally, I don't like it when people do that. Ask me whatever it is you're gonna ask me, and I'll let you know if I can do that. And if you keep coming back, you're gonna make me where I'm gonna stop responding to you the way that you want me to. Like, ask me one time and we come to an agreement. But all this coming back and back and back and back, that's like when you be a child and you ask your mama for one thing, and you keep on, they be like, keep on, like it's much. Like you said, Crystal, if she would just ask for whatever it is that she wants, then they can just like get the payment cut and cut ties and be done. Why can't they just do that? Why it gotta be something else every week?
So what you have to understand is that I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen a divorce decree. There are certain things that are just standard in there. There are certain things that are just standard. There are certain things that are just standard in a divorce decree. If you even pull up the one that we're in South Carolina, it has columns and things that you ask for. And if you have an attorney, it's certain things that's just standard to ask for when you're talking about dissolving of a marriage.
I'm talking about how she keeps asking for non-standard things.
No, so what she's asking for,
in addition,
and what her itemized list is just an itemized list. But it wouldn't be no different if any of us asked for a divorce. That is still calculated in it. That's called the cost of living. What you mean?
Right. I'm not talking about her itemized list.
I mean,
I'm not talking about.
I guess
her itemized makes sense to me.
I'm going
her bills
from a personal experience. My parents are divorced parents. My grandparents are divorced. So how they went through the divorce, it was their divorce. It wasn't a table discussion. It wasn't something that we all had to sit around and discuss and mill through. And I think that's why I just feel so ill about it. Like, why do we keep seeing her in the news? Is she trying to bait him by continuing to let somebody leak this information?
No, it's public knowledge. I'm sorry.
But I guess where's his side of it?
I don't know if the laws are the same in South Carolina, but when you go to the court system, certain things are it's just public. For example, one of our couples that's on the discussion is Cardi B and Offset. Cardi B filed for a divorce from Offset, and that was leaked. She did not share it. It was leaked. It got the bloggers. And it also, the documents was leaked about her asking for child support and spousal support and stuff. And she came out and she did a retraction statement saying she never asked for that, but her attorneys did. And so she had to go to her attorneys, and her attorneys told her that's standard, sweetheart. Y'all have a child together. Y'all have assets together.
But that's, I think you misunderstood me earlier.
He is the breadwinner, and so that's certain things that is going to be acts of, and so she went back and she told her a legal team, I don't want this, I don't want that. That's totally different. Okay, so now they can send more paperwork to ask for something different. So what I'm saying is about when it comes to Dr. Dre and his wife, what we're seeing is stuff being leaked to the public, but it's being leaked to the public in stages. I'm pretty sure the stuff has been filed all together. But when you got one of the sought after high power attorney lawyer, like divorce attorneys in the United States representing you, I'm pretty sure everything is going to be like big and brand when it probably wasn't like that. That's what I'm saying. Like it's easy for the stuff to get leaked when you got one of the top persons trying to represent you. But I'm pretty sure all of that information, he probably had her to put the stuff together to say this, that, and the third. And all that paperwork probably was filed at once, but they're gonna, to the public, they're gonna slow leak it to build momentum. Because when they first started with their divorce, it was, oh, he was only valued at $800,000. Now they're saying it's a $1 billion divorce. And that's less than a month ago.
I guess I wasn't saying that she should not get what standard in a divorce. That's not what I meant. What I'm saying is outside of what standard, to go as far as, like Desiree mentioned the name, I don't think that anybody's not entitled to what the court offers to them in terms of what standard on a divorce decree or what an attorney would typically ask for. And I'm not talking about her itemized list either, because those are her expenses. Like you said, Crystal, that's what she's become accustomed to. She still has those bills outstanding. I don't dispute that. What I'm talking about is things that are non-standard and kind of extra, for lack of a better word. You know, outside of the list of expenses, you know, things that you feel that you should be entitled to that you didn't really do the work for. So for example, if I, you know, was married to someone who owned their own business, an entrepreneur, I would not expect, you know, outside of what standard to be offered, like, you know, the title to their company or crap like that, just because I've been married to them for this long. That's the business that they started. I wasn't necessarily there, you know, I may have worked there from time to time, things like that, but I was compensated as an employee. I would hope that she would have done things that way to make sure that she was getting her share, you know, in the moment, but obviously we don't know anything about that.
I guess I'll just add a couple of insights. So I actually studied paralegal studies, and what happens is that in the beginning, especially if you have a high power attorney, the high power attorney is going to ask for a lot of different things, and they're going to ask for more than literally, like, so if I'm expecting to get $20 million, I'm going to ask for $50 million, because there's always room to go down, but there's never room to go up once you ask it. And so, like, you ask for more than you really expect. If you get that, amen. But if you don't, then that's where you go down. You have like a bottom line of 20 million when I'm asking for like 60 or 70 million. And that's just like normal negotiating terms. And so people know that. And I think that giving her, like, she has a high powered attorney, her high powered attorney, and she as an attorney knows that she should go with her attorney's advice, even if she is an attorney, because think about it, it's always recommended that you don't represent yourself, because you're too emotional in that matter. And because that is true, you know, you tend to make irrational decisions off your emotions. And so, like, she's probably going off of what her attorney says, and she knows that the smart thing to do as an attorney is to listen to her attorney. And so I think that a lot of things that you may feel like it's her, but it's not necessarily her. It's a high-powered attorney, because think about it. If I'm a high-powered attorney, and I said, if you haven't listened to these commercials, they say, I got this for and this and this and that, it's bragging rights. And so I think that could play the terms, but I still stand on my like initial thing where I believe that she should get everything she deserves. We don't know what happened in that marriage. The fact of the matter is that, like, he has the same allegations that she has claimed, whether it be maliciously or not, I don't know, but the same allegations previously, he's had allegations against him like that. And I think that, like, you know, if it was once, okay, but this is not more than once. And so I'm like wondering. And the fact of the matter is that 6 months ago, he tried to hide his assets and things like that. He tried to control the situation. And that to me is like, why are you trying to control it? What's going on? And that's like a red flag to me. He's hiding something. He knows that it seems like she knew, like she said, like, this is what's going to happen. He knows her authority. He knows what she has under her belt. And so for me, it's like, why, if you know you did nothing wrong or anything like that, why are you hiding, you switching assets and you kicking her out, things like that? Like behaviors like that are very alarming to me, like, because if you don't have anything to hide, you don't have anything to, maliciously, then you're good. But just, she seems like she's saying all this, he's doing all this hiding, all this fixing around, all this trying to maneuver, but honestly, I don't think he ever thought that she would do this. It seems to me, just like, I think that she has really, honestly, she's an attorney and she may be very, very powerful in a sense, but I do believe that she had some insecurities. And I do believe that, like, just go off of her behavior. She allowed him to go on TV. She allowed him to do a lot of different things. And she knew it wasn't right. She knew it wasn't true, but she, as his wife, allowed him to just do what he needed to do. And then, because I don't know, I'm really strong-winded, and I'd be like, that's a lie. But I think that out of respect, she still did that. And that to me says like she's holding back something, and she's kind of insecure in some of her ways, which it is what it is. But I still stand firm, and I still think that like she deserves everything she's going to get and everything, that she's requesting. And I do think like the media, like Desiree did make it seem like she kept adding stuff. But in all actuality, like once you file for divorce and things like that, some of it is standard, but then after you do that, then you have to provide all that information on your assets and things like that. And some of the assets and all that is not always determined right away, because you need to provide that information to them. And so she probably didn't know until all that information was public record or all the information was laid out. So how is she going to fully understand the gravity of what she can get until she has all that information? And I'm not sure if he was trying to hide and do all this stuff. Did they have the accurate information firsthand? I don't know. So I think that to be determined.
If the shoe was on the other foot and he was pursuing all of these things from her, would you still be feeling the same way about it?
So it depends. If she had a history of this, and this was just not the first time. Also, I think the same thing happened to Tina Turner. Tina Turner had to fight for her name as well, and I try to get her name and things like that. And so I do think that when in this case, I think it's appropriate. And so it just depends. But the name thing, I'm not sure. I think I can't really make a judgment call on why she wants the name and what and things like that. I don't know. But I do like the finances and stuff like that. I think she deserves everything. But in particular, I think we need to have more information on why she's asking for the name and things like that. Because I do think that there's more information that we're missing, because you don't just come out and say like I gave her the name, and we can understand why I may have wanted the name, but I don't understand what was her reasoning for that. But yeah, besides everything with the name, I do think if the shoe was on the other foot, it'd be the same, honestly, because then that means that he'd be home, he'd be taking care of the home, and he'd be going through the same thing that she would be going through. And so it's only fair.
I guess I just have a different point of view of how celebrities live. So I guess that makes me not as empathetic, because in my opinion, half of them don't raise their own children anyway. Somebody's always doing it for them. So, I mean, was she really breaking her black back, scrubbing floors, I know what Dr. Dre's background was because it was public. He didn't blindside her with his background. She knew about it. So I'm all for people, again, power to women. Women deserve it all. But at what point do we take responsibility as women and we say, I'm not going to be your next victim? I'm going to stop this cycle, because they have a daughter, don't they? And what if she set her daughter on that same path by choosing the man that she chose? That's what I just think about in hindsight. When you know better, you do better. And I hope she learned from this.
I think you do bring a good point on that. Like, you know, like, why do women do this? And it's because they're very insecure. They try to find a void. She might have seen something that, you know, she lost, or I think that it goes way deeper, and there's a root reasoning for her behavior. But this is very, very common. And so I think that, like, unfortunately, that's the way their lifestyle is. I don't know.
Dr. Dre and his wife have 2 children. Is Truly and is it True? Boy and a girl together, but Dr. Dre have other children in previous relationships. One of the things for if it was the shoe on the other foot, we can also look at Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige, in her divorce, had to pay her husband Kendu. He asked for I think it was $30,000 a month. The judge gave him, I think, 10 or something. Of course, like Theronda said, you go high and then you meet in the middle. But she has to pay him because, one, he was her manager. Two, he said he was taking care of home and things like that. And the judge said, and he asked for the same lifestyle, to live the same lifestyle, and he had an itemized list. And one of the things that his itemized list include was his facials and his pedicures and manicures and his personal trainer and therapist. That was included in his itemized list, and that was a lifestyle that he was accustomed to having, and the judge therefore granted. And she was the breadwinner. Everybody know Mary J. Blige. She had her money, but the judge did see that he had to keep that lifestyle, and so she has to pay him. A lot of people was upset about the situation, especially in the society we live in. They was like, oh, he's a man, he can stand on his own feet. But again, justice is blind. So it didn't matter that Mary J. Blige was a woman making the money, and that was her husband, that was her support. The judge did order, and she therefore has to continue to pay him to maintain that lifestyle.
I don't disagree with that at all. That's the choice you make when you marry a bum. somebody that has to be off of what you make. I mean, I don't know. That's just how I feel. If I can't leave you and still be good, I don't know if that is a relationship, because I need to be with somebody that's going to be building me up the whole time, so that when we separate, I got what I need. And maybe that's just me being independent. I don't like the idea of rolling the dice of a judge saying, I don't know. I don't know if you deserve that. I need some security in myself. And I guess that's just the way that I was raised, not to put my day-to-day in the hands of somebody else, because if that person fails to be able to meet my needs, I should be able to do that on my own. And the court of law is just too risky for me.
I just think that, again, in marriage is a partnership. A lot of times it's up and then down. I mean, in that situation, given the information that we do have, he was the breadwinner in the situation. But I mean, she was a practicing attorney before they got married. So in marriage, sometimes it's up for the wife, and sometimes it's down for the husband. It's not a lot of times the traditional of the man making more than the woman anymore. So when you go into a marriage and a partnership, you just got to know that you got to take the good with the bad, and it balances itself out. I don't think that most people enter a marriage thinking that everything is on that partner. Because if you go into a marriage thinking that your husband or your spouse has to be and take care of you, then you go there as a dependent state, and that's not even a partnership. A partnership means that you are a company, I am a company, and we're going to form a corporation. And with that, that means two independent people come together with their own assets and their good qualities to make this corporation merge. These two companies merge into a corporation, and that corporation go further. So most of the time when you're talking about marriage, you're talking about building something. And sometimes, unfortunately, when a divorce comes, that just means that that corporation is divided and going back to two companies. That means those people are independently standing on their own. So it's nothing that the companies have to shut down or a company have to close their doors, but that they go about their business and they go away. They no longer as a corporation. So hopefully it's wholesomeness going into a marriage and not dependency. And hopefully that'll work for somebody. Because if you're going looking for something, you sure ain't gonna find it, because that's not where it's at. You have to have your own standard, and you have to be able to stand your ground. I know a lot of women, I know they say it jokingly, but they say, oh, I'm looking for a man to take care of them. I mean, that comes with a lot. If you're looking for someone to take care of you, have not your parents birthed you and got you right to live on your own? You have to make sure that you're strong in yourself before you can be somebody. But again, that's just my personal opinion, ladies. So I'm gonna put this on pause so you guys can talk about, were you guys surprised about the information about Cardi B and Offset divorce? If you were, tell me why. If you wasn't, tell me why.
No, they got married, in my opinion, because they were both at the height of their careers. It was good for business.
Courtney, what do you think?
I wasn't surprised. Offset, I feel like before they got married, Cardi B knew Offset was for everybody. You know, cheating with Instagram models. I think he at one time was with his girl, his one of the baby mamas, I think it was before they got married, he was cheating on her, and I think she said that she didn't even know they were married, and then she cut it off. But I mean, like I said, I didn't think that it would last long. I think I told somebody I would give it a year. I think it's been over a year, I think. But, you know, that's just, I kind of agree with Desiree. It was, you know, it was for looks. It was a good look. You have two hot artists, you know, obviously that they're attracted to each other. Let's get married and see what we can do. So I don't think there may have been love, but I don't think there was, just because of the continuous cheating.
Or if there was love, there just at least was not like the desire to do the right thing, you know, by somebody. I mean, you have to want to be fully invested, from my understanding, you know, in any relationship.
I think them two getting married also was a part of her becoming pregnant too, because she took a risk being a female artist, getting pregnant within the first year of her album dropping. So for her, that probably was, you know, for security. I don't see their divorce being a messy one. Because just based on their personalities, and especially Cardi's, how she handles things, they're going to bounce back. And I'm actually going to be looking forward to her music, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be good. Because she's going to be talking about this divorce and the cheating.
I didn't think about them being married and her getting pregnant that quickly, like the way that you presented it, actually, Desiree. Like, but that was really risky. I mean, when you have momentum in your career, to interrupt it like that, you know, not that babies are not a blessing, just that it's kind of hard to like be on tour and, you know, in the studio for hours and overnight stuff when you have a brand new baby, you know, and you're trying to keep that momentum going and keep your fan base going. But like you said, I think maybe she has enough personality that she can, you know, actually create opportunity from that situation too. You know, it's actually surprised me that we don't see more pictures of her baby. That she's been as private as she is, you know, with her. Not that she's not pictured at all, but just I figured, you know, with her personality, she'd be one of those that had like the photo shoots or like the outfit changes every couple hours and things like that. But you know, it has not been that way. She seems to be one opposite what you said earlier, Desiree, about like she actually seems to take care of her own baby. So that's nice to see.
So, am I surprised of the divorce? Courtney, I'm with you. 3 years they've been married, and again, you know, a divorce is something that is it's a death of a marriage. That's what divorce means. But in this one, I'm gonna tell you why I chose to go a different way. I think it was wise for her to divorce him, because everyone knows that in lawsuits, I can go after you and your husband money. Right now, Cardi is in so many lawsuits, guys. She's in small ones, she's in big ones. You done set up people to get hurt in the club. Your girl done went back to jail. You know, you got to take care of her family. You're suing your labels and your label. You got so many lawsuits going on. So if I'm worth 25 mil, you worth 28, 26 mil. That means they looking at 50 million. They're not looking at my 20. They're looking at our 50. The best thing to do is divide and conquer. It could have been his cheating, but she knew what she was getting into when she married him. She said on the interview several times she never wanted to marry a rapper because she know that they had women going left and right, and he kept pursuing her, and she just gave in. That's never a reason to marry somebody. If that's a reason, then she shouldn't have never did it. I think she was under pressure because she was married. I mean, she was pregnant at the time, and so she probably was under pressure to marry him. When he did that big public appearance, when she had separated from him, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, bro." It was no sincerity in that. When he got on stage and ruined her performance and was like, "I'm sorry, bro." That's what you tell your homeboy when you accidentally scuff up their new shoes. That's not what you tell your wife.
It's Cardi.
That's not what you tell your wife.
That probably was enough for her. They probably say
"I'm sorry,
all the time.
bro."
That's probably how they talk to each other. I'm sorry, bro.
I'm sorry, bro. He didn't even finish the statement. He didn't say what he was sorry for. He just said, "I'm sorry, bro."
She knew.
I'm sorry. That's what he was saying. But again, I tell you, I think this divorce had a lot to do with that money and hiding that money and dividing that money. I think that's why she went back at her attorneys and told her attorneys to take off the alimony and the child support and the custody. Because in the original one, it says full custody. She wanted full custody of the child because she is one of those stars that raise her children. So she went back and told them to take out the spousal support because she could take care of herself, and that she wanted joint custody because he is a good father. And a lot of times those men, they do have character flaws, but then they do have good qualities. And she said that he is a good father. And trust and believe, if he wasn't, we'll hear more other stuff about the other 3 kids that he have and the allegedly 5th child that he's having on the way. Theronda, tell me.
Yeah, when I first saw that she wanted custody, I was like, I wonder why. Why would you not want joint so they can still spend time with their dad? And, you know, as long as he's not like hurting them and is taking care of them and stuff when they're with him. I did think that was a little strange. So I'm glad to hear that that's changed. I mean, you know, you may as well enjoy having a dad if you have access to a dad. I mean, or a mom. I was like, you know, it kind of surprised me. So I'm glad to see that change. That's a positive thing for the little girl.
Cardi went on Instagram though and said that their divorce is not for any negative reasons. So, I mean, that's what she says. She was like, every divorce isn't about something bad happening. So if that's the story she wants to sell, I'm gonna buy it until it blows over.
I just think that there's two Cardis. There's Belcalis and there's Cardi B. I think that Belcalis is in this situation, not Cardi B. The reason why I say that is because, first of all, I know that like her marriage was like a thing, but nobody even knew they were married. They hid the marriage. They hid the marriage, and then the marriage certificate came up, and then they said something about the marriage. And so I think that, like, honestly, I feel as if that like Cardi B is Belcalis's like alter ego and on honesty, because if you like read her and if you just follow her, she's a very loving, caring person, and she states that like she does want to have a family. She invites his children over all the time. She loves that. She wants actually to be a wife. She loves being a wife. Now, she also is Cardi B. And so I think that one thing that like in being a wife, she knows that she has a personality or, a reputation to withhold. And I think that some of these behaviors is with that. But think about it, like if she didn't care about her husband, I'm not sending no goons to some woman's house over someone I don't care about. I'm sending goons to someone's house about my husband. I'm not like that. That's just it, because I don't want nobody messing with him, and I'm sending goons to them. And she needs to know, don't mess with him. And so like that's just, you have to look at like her actions and like, why is she in all these lawsuits? Some of these lawsuits are associated with her behavior because of him, because protecting him, because she wants to do all these things for him. If she didn't really, if it was like a lot of clout, then she wouldn't necessarily care. But the fact of the matter is that she does love him and she does care about him and she does actually want to. In all honesty, I do believe it's probably going to be a hard thing, but I also think that she has a personality to protect, and so she has to keep up this certain appearance. But I do believe, honestly, I truly believe that like she did love him and she did care about him, and she was really excited and happy to be a mother. And you can just see her and see how she interacts with her daughter as well as her family around. And she's like, my daughter has to eat certain things, and like, and she's and not only that, like just the way she is, and she seems like she thoroughly enjoys being a wife and a mother in general. But I think that that's not sexy. The world, you can't sell that to the world. So you need to actually be Cardi. So she has to do all this extra stuff. What?
Theronda.
What?
Do
No.
you think that she really want to be a wife when she says she don't cook, she don't clean? She nasty.
So first of all, wives don't have to always cook and clean, especially when you're rich. Let's just get that serious, okay? Like, you don't have to do that.
So who gonna clean your baby? Who gonna take care of your children?
Okay, she cleans her own baby. I think that she just.
What I'm saying is, you're putting certain energy. Okay, like you said, it's two people. It's a persona, and then it's really her. What I'm saying is, you putting it out there. You have to be careful what you put out there. And what you putting out there is that you belong to the streets. So what we have to understand is the street has no love. They're not going to love you. The streets don't marry you. You for everybody. So I think that she has to be careful. If this is something that she wants, be about what you want. But the energy that you put in is that's not what you want.
But this is the thing, like the streets are feeding her. She doesn't necessarily, she been said she wanted to get out of the streets. She been said all this stuff. Y'all didn't listen to her. She said this a long time ago when her best friend got locked up. She's like, I don't want this life. That's when her best friend got out, she tried to take her best friend out the streets. Like, she been has said that. Like, and I think that you guys have to, like, watch her Instagram. If you watch her Instagram, her true life, like, she has her sister around. Listen, she don't even allow anyone but her sister to be around that baby and anyone else. It's like, you have to watch what they do, not only what they say. Like, Cardi's actions are not necessarily hood at all. They're not. She don't, like, when you
I think
see it, like,
she has like a stage presence and then her real self, like you said,
Yeah.
Theronda. It's like an act. Because I mean, you do have to like do things, you know, when you're in that lifestyle to get attention, to keep a face. And like right now, I think there's a lot of artists out here, whether, you know, they're medium miss, that are honestly, some of them are not even that talented, necessarily her, but just generally, some of them are not even like that talented. Like you and I know people, you know, that we just know they're more talented than them, but they have a look, they have a gimmick, and they're willing to do what it takes to get that far. I actually had a personal experience with that a few years back. I did a regional talent showcase where I kind of learned firsthand how this stuff really works. And I was like horrified and was like, nah, it's not for me. Like, if it comes back around, great, but I'm not going to be honest to get there. I mean, like, basically, to do an audition for American Idol, I was being asked questions like, have you ever had a learning disability? Are your parents together? You ever served time in prison? Do you have any kids out of wedlock? Like, it was just the weirdest. I was like, pardon you? Like, and I'm like, no, ma'am, I'm a teacher. So I've been fingerprinted by the state. I've gone through FBI checks. Like, I'm like probably the most normal person. Like, well, you got a good look, so we'll figure out something we can say for your backstory. I was like, I no. I was like, I'm not finna get up here and lie on my mom and daddy, like, and then have them cuss me out like they didn't take care of me. Like, I mean, but if you're willing to go that far, they will make a way for you. Just like the thing with Fantasia.
right.
She had some issues in school. It's not like she couldn't read at all. Like, they made it sound like the girl was in slow class. But once again, if you're willing to go that far,
and she went back and got
her
it.
ego.
Do
Right.
anything for
And I mean,
clout.
how could she have gone and gotten a GED if she couldn't read it all? Like, but like I said, you have a stage presence, you know, and you have your real self. And I wasn't willing to I was like, y'all crazy. I said, my mom and dad would beat me up. That'd be my backstory.
It's just I don't you know, sometimes you got that. You have to separate like the information in front of you from your personal position about the person. You guys know she's not my cup of tea on any day. I will not be following her on no social media because I don't want my intellectual ability to go down, because I just can't do it's some people are just too much and you have to take them in small doses.
The
But
sound effects,
I will be
call them
here
sound effects.
But I will say that I will never want someone to struggle or go through anything, though. So I may not, you know, be that champion of her music or whatever, but I still wouldn't want nothing to happen to her in the end. Just like I want nothing to happen to those people that she sent people to hurt. Like, you get what I'm saying? So I mean, I wish her well. And again, he came on social media and, you know, he was like, the show's still going on. That's typically his behavior. A lot of times men don't sit in their feelings and accept stuff. They just keep going to the next person to drop off the garbage that they just got from somebody else. So I again, she's not really saying a lot. He's not really saying a lot. They did get their information from the court. She did ask for the stuff to be changed for her attorney. Again, like Theronda said earlier, they asked for the most and then downplay stuff, but she went and told her attorney to put in what she really was asking for. And she did say joint custody because he is a great father. And she did not ask for any alimony. But again, I think those lawsuits, I think it was a financial move, which makes sense. I see you, Cardi. Makes sense.
Y'all be
And
sleeping.
they weren't married. nearly as long as like Dr. Dre and his wife, what we were
No,
talking
no,
about.
no,
They
no,
weren't
no,
nearly,
no, no,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
no,
so.
no, Whitney. Think about this. If I'm worth 25 million and Jackson worth 25 million, when you sue, you gonna come for 50. You're not gonna come for mine. Now you get it?
Mm-hmm.
So that means the victims can come for her and Offset. But if we're divorced, they can only come for one part.
Okay, what I'm saying is, you know, I would think that things would be a little bit easier to manage and cleaner with fewer years of marriage, depending upon the situation. That's all I'm saying. So
What you mean? I done
splitting up
sacrificed 3
assets.
years. I need 2 million.
They probably just getting divorced for paperwork matters, and they probably will more than likely continue their relationship. If that's what it's about. Because again, on her social media, she's saying y'all are making this out to be something that is really not.
And
So,
I think,
And see, that's what I'm
think
saying.
it's
Like, it
money.
would just be the easiest thing to do.
yeah, so they're probably just going to separate,
They
divvy
just
up.
bought that. They just bought that $10 million house in Atlanta. They just bought that $10 million house in Atlanta. So,
And they're going to be living in it together.
Wouldn't surprise me. Stranger things.
The next topic, Courtney, I want you to present, and that's the question. There was a special show on Taryn Hall. Is it Taryn Hall show in reference to Andrew Gilliam? So, Courtney, if you can present that next topic for us.
Okay, I'm not sure who had sent the original message. I can't remember, but somebody has sent the message showing that clip, and the question was, could you marry a guy that is bisexual? And I've just had so many thoughts about it, and I wanted to get you guys' opinion. Other than just, I would like to know the reason. Because me personally, I feel like when you're bisexual, you like boys and girls, women and men. To me, that just sounds like you're confused, or I can't remember what's the word that they use. Questioning. I think questioning might be the term now. You like girls, women sometimes, and then you like men. But I just don't know that I personally could be with a man who has been with another man, not only just for health reasons. We already know about that, but I just feel like as a woman, I wouldn't be able to offer that man what another man could offer. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could put a strap on, but that's not the same thing. So knowing in the back of my head that if I have to question, am I really satisfying him, or is he really thinking I'm Tyrone while we're doing it? Like I wouldn't be able to get over that, and I don't think I could do it for those reasons. So I was just wanted to hear you guys' thoughts about that.
I am no competition to a grown man. As simple as that. I'm not competing with a man. We have nothing in common. If that's what you like, enjoy. But I'm not here for it.
To go further on that statement, Courtney, his wife said that she knew he was bisexual. He is married. They do have beautiful children, and she said she knew he was bisexual. A couple of people that went to college with him say he was openly bisexual in college. So it's not like a surprise situation. It was a I know situation. So if that's the person that the person is in love with, and they know that they like both. I have some friends that are bisexual. I don't think that you were bisexual. I think that you are bisexual, if that makes sense. And they are living fulfilled lives. That's just something that you talk to with your spouse, especially if you're talking about marriage and you think about talking about children, because a lot of things that parents do affect their children. So It's something that you talk about before you become one with that person. I don't think that if he's in a marriage with you as a woman, he's looking for you to be Tyrone. And the scratch phone thing, I don't know. That just took me to another. I don't know. That confused me, Courtney. And the reason I say that is because if he's with a woman, if he's bisexual, he knows he's with a woman. If he's with a man, he knows he's with a man. I know a scratch phone is not the same thing, just like a vibrator is not the same thing. But women use it. So I don't. Again, if you open and honestly went into a relationship with a person and knew that what it was, and then you guys got married, then that means you signed, sealed, delivered. That's what you wanted to do. That's not no lie. That's not no hoax. That's not no gotcha. That is, I knew this about this person and I chose to go and save this person, or I chose to be with this person because I felt like I knew I was in love with this person. And that's what his wife was saying. It's not nothing new. She knew. I guess that's that you know how people, I heard a lot of people say this like recently about, oh, what about y'all thought about a threesome? Somebody got to be liking the same sex if it's a threesome. If it's another man or it's another woman, somebody will be going both ways in that situation. So it's funny how things sound exciting in one image, but then when it's on the news and you have to openly say your husband prefer or like men, then it's a little questionable. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
like I don't see the difference between that and couples, for example. And you guys know I love her music. I think she's hella dope. She just had a baby on Rue Rose, which is freaking adorable. Just like Tiana Taylor and her husband. You know, they openly spoke about having threesomes, and even she made a song about it. What's the difference? Somebody, if it's another girl there, somebody gonna be dealing with the dealing.
right, and I get what you're saying. I guess my thing was I remember reading, and I do understand that this is something that they talked about, but I guess because of what I do, and I see so many men who are with women and are unhappy with their wives, they're going out and, you know, they have wives and they're with men. I just wonder, for someone who is bisexual, are you really truly happy with that woman? That's what I'm saying. Does it ever cross your mind that you ever want to be with another man again? Because if you're bisexual, you like both. So for the rest of your life, are you going to be happy with just a woman? You know, so that's my thing. I just feel like I would, in the back of my mind, constantly wonder, are you wishing that you were with a man, or do you still want to be with a man? That's my thing, because there are so many men who aren't living their truth. They, have these wives, but deep down, they do want to be with a man, but because of society's pressures and things like that, they just stick it out. But I guess it's hard for me to wrap my head around bisexuality. I'll be honest, to me, it just doesn't make sense. I guess I'm just old school. You either, like one thing or you like the other. I just don't understand how you can like two and be happy in the long run.
Now, I guess this is posing another question to me when you said that, like, either you like this or like that. I mean, doesn't that not fall in line with sexually fluid people? Is that the new term for it? Sexually fluid?
Yeah, it is the same thing. But and once again, I don't get that either. Like, at some point, unless you just want to be alone for the rest of your life, like, I just feel like at some point you need to choose. So I don't know. I don't get the whole bisexual thing, because in my head, I guess you're bisexual until you figure out what you want. But then I still feel like you still, I picked this one, but I'm still kind of thinking about that one. So I don't really get it.
Okay, random fact, and then I'm gonna let you guys answer. I remember I was in my social. It was one of my social. I'm trying to think what what's the title of the class I had to take? Well, anyway, we had to do a study of different, it was basically line up with sexualities and things. And it's an island, I forgot the name, where over 2/3 of the year, you're in a same sex relationship, and you only can procreate that third of the year. So they actually, in that culture, they honor same sex because it keeps the population down. That was just random, but you guys can answer the question.
I guess I don't have a, I believe people love who they love, be with who you want to be with, but be honest at the start of that relationship. And for me as a woman, just please cheat on me with a woman. Don't let it be Paul, because then I'm going to have to question myself because you made a choice to have this long-term relationship with me, and then at some point something happened between us where you was like, oh, I think I want to be with a man now. I think for me as a woman, that would be shattering to my self-esteem. I don't know if that's something that I would be, I don't know if I could, honestly, I don't know how I would make it through something like that, because I honestly feel like I can't compete with a man just as a man couldn't compete with me. Our bodies work differently. Our mannerisms are different. We give something different to one another because of our, sexual makeup. So I would be like devastated, heartbroken. I'm in a psych ward somewhere, like torn up, especially if I had children with this person. Yes, it may be hard to believe, but yes, honestly, that's where I would be at, Crystal, because I just really feel.
Desiree, you know I'm gonna come sign you out, right?
Well, then sign me out. Sign me out and keep a close eye.
Their confusion is not your confusion.
It's not
They just
about
need
the
to figure some things
confusion.
out.
Yeah, but it's not the confusion piece, but it's just a matter of when we go into relationships, we go in with this idea of things, and there's some stuff you can figure out. I can't figure out what Paul doing for you, because me and Paul don't have the same thing. I can't figure that out. If it's Sally, we got something to talk about. Maybe you can tell me what Sally was doing, how Sally was treating you. But Paul is going to be a little bit harder.
I think that her perspective is fairly normal, because like women do be thinking like they're inadequate and like, what did I do? Why didn't I see this? Why didn't I see it coming? And things like that. So I think it's fairly normal. I think in the matter of this topic, in all honesty, like if it was agreed upon before, and that like, like, I think I come with a perspective of a marriage is to death do us part until something else happens. And so like, if you marry me, then the expectation is that you're with me and you're only with me. And if you choose to have another relationship, then you're not with me. And so I think that that's the stance I would take. But in that, because whether it, like, in all honesty, because I can't do STDs, I can't do STIs, nothing like that. You with me, you just with me, okay? I'm with Desiree, where like, one day I can be Angela, the next day, you want me to put a wig on, whatever we can do. But like, if you are not with me monogamously, no. Yes. So that's just how I feel regarding that. But in the case of Andrew, listen, I do not believe, and I put this, and I say this, I do not believe that Andrew and his wife are being real with everyone. Because let me tell you this, I do believe that the whole bisexual thing is this pure smokescreen. Because let me tell you, he got found with a whole bunch of drugs, a whole bunch of things illegally. And so I think that if we focus on his bisexuality, if we focus on this piece, because like, that's more acceptable. But if we focus on what he was doing in that hotel room with drugs and all this stuff, and then he made a mistake and was like, I've always struggled with depression and I've always had, you know, these battles and things like that. Sir, was that your excuse why you didn't get arrested? Because all those drugs and all that thing was still found in that area, and then you come out saying you're bisexual. Smokescreen. I don't care what anybody says. I do believe there is more to, and they're just saying I'm bisexual because she already knew it. This is something like, this is not something new. This is not something that you know, the family members or the college people. This is not something new. So let's just put this out there so the world can have it, so they can forget about the other stuff that I did in the hotel. They can forget about the drugs. They can forget about all the rest of the malicious thing that I did for the past couple of months because I was depressed. No, ma'am. I do think that, like, it's a pure smokescreen. If you're bisexual, okay, be bisexual. That's your business. And if your wife is agreeable, that's her business too. But please don't use it as an excuse to get away with a whole bunch of things. Because at the end of the day, I don't believe that his sexuality is something that, like, it was a surprise. I just think it was purely a distraction from what was really going on and all the rest of the issues.
So ladies, I told you guys I do not want to keep you guys long, and we are closing into the 9 o'clock hour. So what we're going to do is sign off with everyone, saying where you guys can be found or contacted or located. And we're going to start with Miss Whitney first, and then we're going to finish out. I will get confirmation of if next week Pablo is going to be in the building, and I also will get confirmation of Clarice joining us. As you guys know, Clarice will be going to Korea the beginning of October. So just keep that in mind, and let's close out. Miss Whitney, if you will give us the honors, sir.
All right. My name is Whitney Wright. I can be found on Facebook at that same name. On Twitter, I am at Whitney Be Like. I do human resources primarily on a full-time basis. I also do consulting for business optimization, marketing, and mass communications, and then other human resources work as well. Airbnb still coming soon.
All right, ladies, Miss Courtney, let's go. And then we'll go Theronda, and then we'll go Miss Desiree.
My name is Courtney Mucklin. You can find me on Facebook at Courtney Mucklin, and I did figure out my Instagram password. So you can find me on Instagram at MRZMUCK.
Hi, I'm Theronda Myers. You can find me on Facebook at T. Lanice Myers. I am a licensed social worker working on with women, as well as, you know, clinical depression, anxiety, and things like that. I can be reached at Abide Integrative on Facebook, as well as Abide Integrative on Instagram.
I'm Desiree, and you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat at @of_another_breed.
All right, guys. I am Crystal Salam. You can find me on the internet as Crystal Salam. You can see me also under Let's Make It Crystal, my new business I launched. .com. That's the website. I'm also on Let's Make It Crystal on Instagram. You can also follow my little cute schnauzer at Winston Lugosi on Instagram to give you some laughs, because that's all he does. Ladies, thank you guys for a great podcast. And again, we're going to put some things in place. Please send your topics and we'll be discussing them soon. So all you guys have a good night. Goodbye.